All right, so backflows are required to be tested annually. This is an RPZ because it's got a reduced pressure zone. If this reduced pressure zone was not here, it would be deemed just a double check. Double check valves are required to be tested twice a year. And so the scenario is the reason that you test them once a year is to protect the water supply. The scenario is if these things aren't getting checked, if somebody bootlegs one in and nobody knows it's there, then it can get cut out and replace straight pipe, and you have a cross-connection contamination. So what you want to watch out for is make sure that they're properly installed in the proper orientation, not vertical but horizontal, and you want to make sure that you get it tested annually. Why? Because backflows are protecting from two types of back cross-connection. You're going to have back siphonage, and when I teach the class I use my body. This is the supply side. Number one test cock always shows which way the water's flowing. This is the discharge side. So you got check 1, check 2, check 3, check 4. I just said check. Test cock 1, test cock 2, test cock 3, test cock 4. Check 1, check 2, the reduced pressure zone. Since the water's traveling that direction, you can have back siphonage when 0 poundage of pressure occurs, either through somebody cutting the water off or a break in the main or something of that nature. And when if this is a hill, like going down there to the river, then it can siphon the water backwards. The alternate, the head side of that same coin, is back pressure. You can get back pressure causing the potable water that came through it to try to flow backwards. Back pressure can be caused by a column of water, like a multi-story building. It can be caused by a water hammer from somebody turning the water on and off too fast, or it can be caused by malfunctioning equipment. If this backflow is servicing, say, a boiler, and the boiler begins to overheat, the pressure expands, and that can cause back pressure. And then everybody quite often says, I don't think this is overboard, because there's just very rarely is anything like that going to happen. And when I teach it, I teach about the ghost in the room. And the ghost in the room is called the aspirator effect. And the aspirator effect is of such a nature that if the pipe is in that direction and the water's flowing in that direction, you call it static when you cut water off. And when the water's off in the static position due to a ball valve and it drips, when static condition, it's going to drip, and then as soon as they flush a toilet, take a shower, use water for any reason, that drip now becomes siphon. So that's why it's the ghost in the room. It does not have to be a catastrophic event to allow potable water to be infused with non-potable substances through the aspirator effect. And so the most common example of an aspirator effect is when you take a garden hose and you go to Lowe's and you buy one of those nutrient suppliers that sprays nutrients on the flowers. Well, that bucket, all the water doesn't go through the garden hose down into the bucket and then on, or all the nutrients would go away immediately. It uses the aspirator effect in that when you pull the trigger and spray the bushes, there's a small hose going in the bucket of nutrients and it siphons it out. That is the aspirator effect. Under the umbrella of the aspirator effect is the Venturi principle. And the Venturi principle, every fire truck, every hook and ladder that goes down the street has a Venturi device on it, because firemen, if they were trying to put a fire out, throw water all over it. But if it's a chemical fire, they have to spray it with foam in order to deprive the oxygen to get the fire to go out. The Venturi effect is when you have a large diameter pipe going into a small diameter pipe, back into a large diameter pipe, and where that drops and increases again, it creates a siphon. So the Venturi switch is on the truck, so when the fire truck pulls up and they say, hey, we got to foam this fire, then they flip the Venturi switch, reroute the water, and put the foaming agent in it. That was taught to me by a fireman from the fire suppression industry in my class. He took it further and said, Drew, if the fire's 300 feet away from the fire truck, the foaming agent would dilute. So we have Venturi vessels that we carry out to the end of the 300 feet of hose, or 70. If it's over 75 feet, they utilize it so that when the foam gets to the fire, it's not diluted. So that's your example of the Venturi effect, which falls underneath the umbrella of the aspirator effect, which falls underneath the umbrella of back siphonage. And the opposite side of the coin, I use the coins with head side and tail side. The opposite of back siphonage is back pressure. And that's it in a nutshell.